Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks. It's Hal Coleman here, the Pest Control Marketer, with another episode of PestControlMarketing.live, the only live streaming internet TV show totally dedicated to helping PCOs and WCOs get more new customers, close more deals, grow your business, and make more money. And as always, I'm here with my sidekick, the ever-present, effervescent, always pleasant Mike, Mr. Online Stewart. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm great, Hal. It's good to be here. You know, PCO and WCO. Tell me again what that stands for.
Pest Control Operator and Wildlife Control Operator. You know that. You're just trying to jerk me around here.
No, I thought it was persistent, consistent, outrageous marketing.
Well, it stands for that too, definitely. So
that's what we like to do. And the other one is wild, consistent,
wild and crazy. Yeah. How you doing? Well, I haven't seen you since we did the last show, I don't think.
Well, I'm doing great, working on all kinds of different projects, doing stuff in music. Love working with these PCOs and WCOs at the end of the day, you need more strangers to find you to turn into customers. And that's what we're all about, turning strangers into customers, keeping the existing customers happy, and most importantly, just doing things that other people won't do that makes a difference. And speaking of doing things that other people won't do, I know I'm real excited about today's show. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Me too. You know, we've got a guest today that's a special guy to both of us. He's a PCO from Tennessee, and he got in my coaching program about 5 or 6 years ago. He called me because he was stuck. Like, you know, everybody that calls us is stuck, whether they're a one-man operator or a $10 million company. They don't call us when things are booming. They call us when they get stuck. And the problem is, having been stuck myself at one time when I was a PCO, when you get stuck, you're stuck. And you can't really figure your way out of it because you're too busy keeping yourself afloat being stuck. So anyway, this Erik Gardner with Volunteer Rid of Pest. He's up in Cleveland, Tennessee, and he's also during the time we're working together, opened another office over in Chattanooga, and he's just a remarkable guy, and he's done great. It's a family business, and I think his dad's and mom started it, and he took it over. And heck, let's let him tell us more about it. He can do a better job than I can. Is he in the green room?
I'm going to bring on, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Here he is, the one, the only, the original, the man himself, Erik Gardner, all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Well, really, I think north of Chattanooga, Cleveland, Tennessee. Possibly.
Cleveland, yeah. How you doing, Erik?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. You heard what we were saying about you, I guess. And, you know, why don't you tell the folks how you got started in the pest control business and what led you to end up calling Mike and I for help?
Well, I grew up in the pest control business. My mom and dad started the company in 1970 when I was only 6 years of age. So grew up in the business. My dad put me to work when I was 14. He grew up in poverty. So he started a business of his own, used the capitalistic system to pull himself out of that condition, and built the business up so that we had a good standard of living growing up. So to me, I have two brothers as well. They went and did other things, but I saw the opportunity in the business. And so got into it with my dad, and we worked it together for over 20 years until he passed away. When that happened, I kind of found myself as a single operator. My mom was the bookkeeper and I was the staff, and started building the business. So I decided I need some help. And so I hired my first employee, which was scary because you don't know, once you take on an employee, you got to pay them. And so I didn't know, how it is. You don't know if I pay him, what am I going to survive on? So, but it all worked out because then it freed me to go out and pursue other business, which I did. So built the business up to around $600,000. And so that took, probably 8 years, hard work, experimenting. It's amazing how many people have solutions for you that don't know anything about pest control.
Yeah.
I wasted, I don't know, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on bad advertising that didn't work. But I was trying different things, trying to come up with the winning formula. And I'd been at a pest control training seminar, and I saw a guy named Hal Coleman up there. And Hal had us Atlanta area. And so when I heard that he was offering advice on how to build a pest control business, I called him because I thought, you don't know what you don't know.
It's funny, he had the same name as me.
Yeah. And so I thought, this guy, Hal, is further down the road than I am. He obviously knows something I don't know. I'm going to find out what it is. So, I gave you a call and we hooked up from there.
Yeah. And, over the years, I'm in, I guess, my, going on close to 15 years doing this full time, coaching small pest control companies, and run the gamut as far as A students, B students, C students, D and F students. Some don't want to do anything, and the frustrating part is showing them what works, and then they every week have an excuse why they didn't do it or something came up. Then I run into guys like you who have the apparently enough faith in me to take the leaps, but the courage to move ahead and the vision to know what you want things to look like, and you're not afraid to implement things, and it pays off, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. You have to be willing to make changes. If you keep doing what you've been doing, if you do exactly the same thing in 2021 you did in 2020, you're going to get the exact same results. You have to change something. And the more you change it, the bigger the results you're going to get.
Yeah, I think it may be Dan Kennedy said outrageous marketing delivers outrageous results.
Yeah.
And I believe that. But what would you say is because I know when we started out, you were a bug man.
Yeah.
And now you are a businessman. I mean, a total businessman now. What was the hardest thing for you to take the steps to make that, to go from bug man to businessman? The biggest obstacles, maybe there's more than one that you had to overcome and hurdle over or dig through.
Well, there were several things. Number one, I thought no one could do the job as good as I do. So I've got to be the one treating the houses because nobody will do it as well. And I had to get over that, train my guys that I hired to do it, the best way possible. Find good people. That's number one.
Yeah.
You got to find employees that are honest, dependable, and take pride in their work. And that's not that easy to find because it's hard to tell by looking at them.
Yeah, man. Some of them after you interview them, you think you found the end of the rainbow, and they turn out to be the total bust. And others you're a little leery of, and they just hit the ground running and shine like gold. It's
a difficult thing to know on the front end, but you just have to always be looking for the next great employee. And you taught me that. And that's what I've been doing. But once you find the good ones, you just teach them how to do it, and you got to let go and let them do it. Mm-hmm. And you told me this, you got to spend your time working on the business instead of working in the business.
Yeah.
And for years, I worked in the business and didn't have time for the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And so I learned from you that. And then the other marketing ideas, you told me there's 1,000 little things that you have to do. And
people hear me say that a lot.
I was always looking for the home run. I'm going to get this billboard and I'm going to be covered up with business. That didn't happen. Or I'm going to get this TV commercial and that's going to be it. And it didn't happen. Yeah. So like I said, I wasted a lot of money trying to figure it out. And I got with you and you said, hey, here's what you need to do. And I did it. And son of a gun, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. during the 18 years that I had my business, I tracked stuff. I don't know why in the beginning, I guess just because I'm anal, but I tracked stuff on my own. Nobody ever told me to track it. I just figured out I need to know, how I'm doing here. I tracked my Yellow Page ad before the internet, and you remember the days there was one Yellow Page book and that's it. And you need to be in the Yellow Pages. Then another Yellow Page book came out, and then another Yellow Page book came out, and then Al Gore invented the internet, and then so we saw this evolve. But I think I figured it up in 18 years, somewhere right in the neighborhood of $645,000 on advertising and marketing. And my last year I had my business, I was spending $72,000 a year on my Yellow Page ads. But the Yellow Page ads made me money, but they made me less and less and less money every year as the internet came along. And but I know all about that, spending money on things that you get sold a package and you believe it's going to put you on the map, and then you write a big check, and then you can't trace any customers back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was what was happening to me. And because we, at every phone call that comes into our office, we ask them, how did you hear about us? How did you think to call us, and try to track it back? They say, well, I saw this or I saw that. And that's the biggest thing, is you've got to know where your money goes. And you taught me that, that way, if it's not working, stop doing it.
Yeah. And over here, if it is working really well, you might want to put more money into it.
Yeah.
It's got a good payoff. But you got to spend some money. You can't really, unless you really have the time to, you get up to a certain, if you're a one-man operator, you can grow. If you put the boots on the ground and you do door to door and cold calling, but then you get to the point where you're too busy running a route to do anything. And that's sort of the critical mass point right there. Mm-hmm. When you're on overload and you don't have time to work on your business, and you need to hire somebody, but you don't know who, because you haven't been recruiting, and you're really in between a rock and a hard place. And that's, everybody faces that. That first employee is the hardest one to hire and gives you the most anxiety, but it can change your life more than anything you've ever done.
Oh, for sure. And you asked me this question, I think our first or second conversation. What would you do if you got 300 new customers? Could you handle them? And I'm like, probably not. He said, you need to, if you're going to grow, you've got to have the truck, you got to have the employee, you got to have the infrastructure to handle it. Mm-hmm. And if you're a one-man show and you've got one truck and it's you and you're maxed out, if you get 100 new customers, what are you going to do with them? You mm-hmm. got to have a plan.
You got to have a plan. And you like to hunt, don't you? Deer hunt?
I'm not much of a hunter.
Okay, I'm thinking somebody else then, but I tell people, around the hunting camps, there's all these guys sitting around the fire, and they're all arguing continuously about how's the best way to hunt. Facing this way, facing that. What's the best kind of tree stand? What's the best caliber of rifle? What's the best ammo? What's the best kind of scope? You got to have this. You can't kill a deer with that kind of rifle and everything. And it never ends. But I always used to listen to the guy that always came into camp dragging a deer behind him. And so translating that to your employees, you can't hire anybody that's just exactly like you and that may want to use exactly the same products that you like to use, because there's 475,000 different products to kill a cockroach with. And so, as long as somebody complies with the laws and the regulations and is honest and puts smiles on your customers' faces and brings in the money, that's those things. Keep me out of trouble, make my customers happy, and bring in the money. that's good enough. You know, that's good enough. It's good enough.
Yeah, that's our rule. You know, as you back out of the customer's driveway, I want them to be smiling.
Yes.
If they're not smiling, go back, find out why, and make them smile. Do not leave if they're not smiling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's words to live by there. I bet Mike Stewart's got some questions he'd like to ask you.
Yes, I do, Eric. But we're going to have a quick little word from our sponsor, and we'll come back and talk about some of the online challenges you had in the past, and some of the things that we've done together. And I want to tell the pest control jingle story because you were at our event 2 years ago, and I want to talk about our event right now. So we'll have you back in just a moment, Eric. So Hal, you know what happens. Today is February 8th, and this coming Saturday is February 13th. So if you see this live stream as a replay or hear the podcast, you can still go to Next Level PCO Marketing. Now, the real thing I want to share with folks right now is this is what the website looks like where you go. And in fact, I recommend everybody prior to February 13th, 2021, go to this website. There's still a chance to attend live. Because of COVID, this is a virtual event. You don't have to get on an airplane. You don't have to travel. You don't have to rent a hotel. You know, all you got to do is be at the comfort of your computer, and you go over to this website. You watch the video here from Hal. Hal comes on and explains everything to you. And then you can read about what we've got planned. In fact, there was the original. In fact, I believe Erik is sitting right there in the front row, if I'm not mistaken. That was a picture from the event 2 years ago. And you just click the sign up button. And what you're going to get is you're going to get the ability to log in, and you're going to see the schedule. Hal's going to be teaching the 30-second selling method, how to get anyone to say yes in 30 seconds or less. That's a new presentation. It's
a powerful presentation.
That's from 9 to 10.
I don't care how much you're closing. You will close more if you learn this presentation.
Absolutely. Session 2 is 12 formulas of success. You want to talk about that for a minute, Hal?
Yeah, it's just little simple things. They're just formulas like in algebra. You know, 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, they're I've translated them into marketing. So I think it'll be entertaining. It'll be a little humorous, and it's also just powerful bread and butter, meat and potatoes, marketing that works.
No nonsense marketing. You know, sometimes it's so logical. You just go, why didn't I think of this? Well, that's because people just don't know what they don't know. I'm going to be talking about the search engine optimization myths. You know, the whole thing is to generate a lead online, you got to get found on a cell phone. And there's a lot of myths. There's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of truths. And I'm going to kind of just break it down into just simple language of this is how it works. This is what we do for our customers. Don't be sold a whole lot of hooey that just really doesn't matter. You can spend, in fact, one of the things I'm going to ask Erik about here in a minute is spending a lot of money on things that don't work. And he said something earlier before we started the show, scared to stop it. You know, well, you know, if it ain't working, stop it. We're going to talk about that. And then I've created a new thing called pay-per-click video landing pages. It's a cheap video way of advertising. Then we're going to have a networking meeting, a virtual networking meeting. We're going to do hot seats. You can network with the other PCOs there. You can trade information. It's just like at a real event when you go out in the lobby and have a little networking meeting. You might want to bring your own cocktail. We're not serving cocktails, but you could bring your own cocktail to the computer, and we'll have a networking meeting from 5 until everybody's tired of asking questions. So that's letting you see. Basically, you just log in, you click on session 1, and it's queued up and ready to go. And all you got to do is you hit that big red play button on the page there, and you can see here we go live in 4 days. How can you believe it? Live in 4 days.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So anyway, we have made completely virtual at nextlevelpcomarketing.com. It's still time. You want to attend live. Yes, you can buy it later and watch the replays, but there's something about being there live and interacting and being able to ask questions, and you can get immediate response. And everybody who also attends this, you'll be able to watch the last 2 years' events. They're all recorded and on demand. So, I mean, this is just a bargain. Go check it out at Next Level PCO Marketing. So anyway, there you go. That's kind of a little review and sponsorship. But I'm going to bring Erik back right now. And Erik, let's talk about the history of your online and advertising strategies. Tell me a little bit about what you were doing prior to me and how.
Well, for years, of course, like everyone else, doing the yellow pages, because that was the only game in town. If you weren't in the yellow pages, you weren't going to get any business. And that's the way it was. As it changed, the internet came along. There's a lot of different companies offering you these great deals. They're going to get you, top billing there on the Google search, and they're going to do all these great things for you. And it's really expensive. But, you do what you got to do, because that's where all the people are going searching for pest control. So I did that and was spending initially a couple of $1,000 a month. And then it went up from there because, if you spend a little more, they'll push you up higher. So you'll be number one and all that, all the big promises. And so I was really afraid. I wasn't getting the results I wanted, but I was afraid to stop, because what if it crashed and I didn't get any calls? So they kind of have you hostage, and you got to sign up for a year. And with it being the way it was, they could cut your service, and then you're not going to have anything. So you're sort of hostage. And I didn't like that. So for years I kept paying it, but begrudgingly, and I wasn't happy with the results. So Mike, you came along and said, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work directly with Google on Google AdWords, and you're going to help me make the ads and monitor them and see what they're doing. And if we need to change them, we can change them. If they're not working, stop, and we have control, which is something I never had before. I had other people making my ads. I would tell them I didn't like it, but yet they still did it their way. And one company even had, if anyone searched volunteer rid of pest, they counted that. So if it was my customer already and they saw my ad, search volunteer rid of pest, that ad popped up and they clicked on it, I had to pay, and it was my customer already. I said, I don't want them. If they search volunteer rid of pest, let them go to my website and it's free.
Right.
They kept doing that. So little things they can do to generate income that they don't tell you about. But anyway, once I got on with you, Mike, my cost went down dramatically and my calls went up dramatically, which it never happens. You spend less money, you get less typically, but not in this case. You help me make better ads. You tell me where to put them, how to spend it, and we doing business with you. If during the winter I want to back off a little on what I spend, I just say, hey, Mike, let's back off a little, and we pick out the budget. With the other companies, you're in. If you're spending $3,000 a month, you're spending $3,000 a month in January. Well, this way, if I need to back off a little in January and February, I can. If I want to ramp it up in May through August, I can do that. There's no change. There's no penalty for changing. So a lot of good reasons that it's really worked great for us.
Well, that's great for you to be what we call social proof that there's a lot of companies that they want long-term contracts. They want flat, large fees. And the truth is, you can pay money directly to Google. I don't try to bump up what we spend at Google. I try to tell you, you can adjust the budget up and down, and we do it together so that you're in complete control. In fact, the name of my company is Websites and Marketing You Control. I don't want to hold you hostage. I don't even do long-term contracts because I figure if I do my job, you're never going to want to quit me. That's what I pray. And I'm very grateful for you to stick with me the way you have, because it's a partnership. It's a consultation partnership. And I got to tell this story. You were at the Next Level PCO Marketing we held in Atlanta. We did 2 in Atlanta. We were going to do it this month in Atlanta, but this pandemic kind of put a halt to us doing it in person. That's why we went virtual. But I remember that I want to tell the story of the breakfast, and you, or maybe you tell it the way you know it. All I know is you came in and you told me about Charles Pittman and his Chattanooga jingles. Tell that story.
Well,
it was an inspiration to me and how.
Well, I had been looking for someone to create a jingle for my business for probably 5 years, because there was a lawyer, and I think he's actually from Huntsville, Alabama, but he was moving into Chattanooga market, and he had a jingle that said, Charles Pittman is the way to go, call 877-9800. And I know a lot of lawyers, have some that are good friends of mine, and I don't know any of their phone numbers off the top of my head. Charles Pittman, I know his number because it was in a jingle. And I thought, if I could get people in this area to remember my phone number that way, it'd have to be a leg up. Oh, we see ants in the kitchen. Who do we call? Well, volunteer rid of pest. No bug will survive. Call 698-7205. And so I put it in all my advertising. Well, you guys created that. And so we were talking about it one morning. I said, I need somebody to make a jingle for me. I've been looking everywhere. Do you know of anybody? And Mike says, yeah, we can do it. And I'm like,
that's how we got started 41 years ago, I think, was doing jingles.
I think we told the story of how Hal and I met. Hal used to come to my house and sit on the commode with a microphone. That was my vocal booth.
Now, it wasn't because I was going to the bathroom. It was because you didn't have a sound booth for me to be in your studio.
Right.
To keep away from all the echo. So you had to put me in the bathroom and close the door.
Right.
And the only place to sit in the bathroom was on the toilet. I just want to make that clear. Okay.
Well, Hal used to sit on my toilet and sing jingles like he was Willie Nelson. And we made money doing that. And we told the story to get a laugh, Eric. And you came out and said, so I didn't know you knuckleheads did jingles. And I said, well, yeah, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. You don't forget how. It's just that what you're talking about is an earworm jingle. And I loved it. Your lyrics were great. And I just added Google volunteer rid of pest. No bug will survive. Call 698-7205. And I got a singer. In fact, I remember I did a demo the next day when I got back to Nashville here. And I sang it as a demo for Erik. And he was so sweet. He said, Mike, I like that, but I can't kind of understand no bug will survive when you sang that. Well, I've got a deviated set. I said, I'm not the singer, Erik. That's nice. You thought I was saying that's the voice. I was just trying to show you what it would sound. So we got a professional Nashville singer to sing it. And you've been running that thing, I guess, for a couple of years now. And hopefully it in the market, the goal is you're establishing how to get in touch with you. That was the goal of that jingle. Yeah. And you inspired a very profitable business for Hal and I. So I wanted to tell that story because what you and I have done and our experience has been, I want strangers who don't know you to find you. I want them to call you, and I want them to become new customers and referral partners. And I think that's what we've accomplished in our relationship. And so I'll let you and Hal finish up here, but that was we work on everything we can. I mean, what I love about Erik is, you're right, Hal. When you tell him this is what we need to do, it's not like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't have the time. Why you make me do that? I hate that. That sucks. Do something different. Golly, my competitor's doing this. Can't we do what they're doing? I mean, in other words, you don't make it difficult to get the job done. And we appreciate that.
Yeah. And you know what Erik does too? A lot of people who we've worked with, we write a script for them or do a jingle or do something, and they want to have their own touch, so they change it. And I'm like, look, when I write a script for somebody, it takes quite a bit of thought and work, because I want to get every word speaking directly to the subconscious mind, who is the decision maker. Erik knows all this, and And if you're speaking to the conscious mind, you're wasting your time because that's not the decision maker. So you don't want anything there to be confused. And I often say, it's like if you want to open the buying vault in somebody's brain, it's just like opening this safe I've got over here. You got to have the right combination. So when we work on that combination and have worked on it for years, I know what the language is. And so I give it to somebody and then they say, how do you like what I did? Now, and they do it and they've changed the language. And it's like giving somebody the combination to a safe. Say, I got your safe set up over here now. I got it installed. And here's your combination. And then they say, well, I can't get into my safe. I call up, I can't get into my safe. Well, did you use the combination? Well, I changed a couple of numbers, a couple of numbers I didn't like. It just thought it sounded better if it have a 9 on the end of it instead of a 5. I said, well, if you change the combination, the door won't open, So we when we write scripts and things like that, every word in there is planted in there in a sequence to open that window in the subconscious. And so Eric's good about that. Just, we told you to do something or say something. That's what you did. You didn't go off on a tangent and say, well, I had my own way I wanted to do it. Those folks drive me crazy who just, I don't know if they're control freaks or they just don't trust what we say. But if you do it, it works, doesn't it?
Well, when someone hands you the wheel, why would you go try to reinvent it? I mean, like I said, you were further down the road than I was. You had built a bigger business than I had. You knew something I didn't know. So I thought, hey, Hal says to do it, I'm going to do it. If it doesn't work, then I'll yell at Hal. But it worked. So have I ever told you how?
Yeah, I had those same struggles. I started out as a one-man operation and struggled for years. But you've heard me mention the name Larry Latimer. He was a friend of mine in the music business that Mike and I had done those jingles for early on. And but Larry was a sales and marketing genius, and he had been in that business also for years and years, writing jingles, selling advertising. And he just kind of took me under his wing one day at Waffle House. We were having coffee and he was asking me about my business, and I told him some of my struggles, and he just, out of the goodness of his heart, because he's a good friend, he said, I want to help you. I'm going to show you some things that are going to blow you away. And I'm not going to charge you for it. And so we started using my pest control business as a guinea pig. And I'm like, holy smokes. And he said, now I want you to go read this book. And I'd go read this book. And we would implement some of this. And now here's another book I want you to go read. I'd go read that book. And then gradually he was saying, now there's a international marketing seminar coming up next February. I want you to go to it and attend it. Okay. I did everything Larry told me to do, no matter how strange it was. And it really just kind of changed my life to the point where I said, nobody knows this stuff hardly except people like Larry. And especially in home services industry, especially the pest control industry, nobody knows this stuff. So I started mentoring some other friends in the business, and I got so passionate about it. I just said, I want to do this full time, and sold my business and jumped in there. That was almost 15 years ago. And it's just, I know how exciting it is for somebody like you to take some of the stuff we do and run with it and see what it does, because that's the same way I felt when I learned it. And so, yeah, it's a rewarding thing. So,
well, Eric, we wanted to showcase you because this makes it real. You're not paid to come on here and be a paid testimonial. We're just three friends that have worked together, and our genuine goals is the success for you and anybody else that wants to follow in your footsteps in other markets. And that's why we do this live cast. That's why we do this podcast. That's why we create these things, because I I like to make money. And all of us, we all have to make money to live. But I like it when people get results. That's kind of the joy I get from all of the stuff. I like it when I hear that things are going better and what do we need to fix, and and how can we do it better, and what's a new way of doing things. And so we wanted to showcase you because we've never done that before. So as far as I'm concerned, thank you so much. Hal, you and Erik probably ought to wind this up because it's been going a while here, but it's up to you guys. Go as long as you want to. But thank you for being there, Erik, and I wish you much, much continued success for you and your family.
Well, thank you for all your help, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Any last words you want to leave people with, or questions you want to ask Mike or me while you got us here to get some free coaching out of us?
Oh, I'm good. I've written it down. But here's the main thing. This is a Monday morning. It's 9:30 in the morning, and I'm still at home. Now, when I first met you, Hal, I was out the door at 6 o'clock every morning, busting my tail end all day long, trying to make a living, and you helped me step back and work on the business instead of working in the business. Yeah. So I spend part of my day in my home office, which I'm in right now, go to the office and make an appearance, make sure everything's running smoothly. And I'm not tied to it like I once was. If I want to go fishing on a Tuesday, I go fishing on a Tuesday.
I was going to say, one of the biggest things that I get satisfaction from when I start working with a client, like you, when you and I first started together, is being to see them take off a week and go on a vacation and come back and say they sold more while I was gone than they did while I was here. And I had one guy that been in business as a one-man operator with a part-time helper. He had been in business for about 7 years, struggling, and got in the program. And about 18 months later, he went on a 10-day moose hunt in Alaska and didn't miss a beat. He came back, and he had several employees by then. He said, they sold more while I was gone than they do when I was here. And that really, gets me going. That's what I'm in this for.
Well, that's what I had in mind 20 years ago. I wanted to get to the point where I wasn't having to just work daylight to dark to make a living. And now we're there. It's, always could be a little better, and I intend to keep working at it. But again, I'm working on the business instead of in the business. And that's the biggest change.
Really appreciate you taking time out this morning. I know you had a sales meeting or something going on this morning, and you kind of adjusted it to be on our show, and I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you here somewhere soon at an event or anything you need my help with. I'm a phone call away.
I may invite you up to talk to our staff at some point and impart a little wisdom to them. So I'll be in touch with you on that.
Yeah, I'd love to talk with them about that. About your encapsulation business and all, that's new. You weren't doing that when I was working with you, and I'd like to find out more about that. So maybe we can get together. That'd be great. Yeah. But anyway, thanks again, Erik, for taking the time to be on the show. And folks, I hope you got some real nuggets from Erik. And he's a great guy. He's done a great job. And Mike, as always, does a great job. And I hope I do too. And so, listen, thanks for watching this show today, and we hope to see you on the next episode of Pest Control Marketing.live.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control, marketer, grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.